As the party continues down the dungeon stairs, they grow tired. They reach a dead end, so Chilchuck takes Leos's sword and hits the wall, revealing a secret passage. They're relieved by the time saved, but Leos notices the decoration on his sword is missing. Marcel blames Chilchuck's carelessness, but Leos explains it was already loose. They thought it was important, but Leos reveals it was just sentimental. 3 years ago, they joined a party to make money in the dungeon. While exploring, they found a hall filled with armors. Their party leader died suddenly, and the armors came to life, terrifying them. Leos had to fight them, breaking his sword in the process. He defeated one with a different sword, but was haunted by the memory of his first death. He jokes about cooking armor, but Senshi reminds him it's not edible. Marcel explains they're controlled by magic, not living beings. Leos tries to convince them otherwise, but fails. They open the Hall of Armors, and Leos suggests running past them since they're slow. They decide to try running, but an armor blocks their path, so they prepare to fight. Marcel destroys one, but more start moving and they fight them off. Leos suggests retreating to understand what's happening. Marcel remembers armors don't have feelings, so she suggests finding and defeating the creature controlling them. Chuck wonders if such a creature exists, and Leos thinks they're protecting something. They agree defeating the magic user would stop the armors. Leos suggests he enters the hall while the others distract the armors. Chuck worries about his combat skills, but Leos points out the armors have no senses. They enter the room again, with Leos sneaking towards the door while the others fight the armors. Leos reaches the chamber and finds a stronger-looking armor with no apparent controller. It seems to be protecting something. He tries hitting its limbs, but it sends him flying. His sword breaks again, and the armor keeps advancing. Leos throws a rock, noticing something attached to its shield. The object looks familiar to Leos, reminding him of something he played with. He realizes it's an egg sac of a living creature and wonders what's inside. He remembers the armor grabbing its head to attack and turning the helmet to follow his movements. He realizes the armor is also a creature, moving by instinct, confident in finding ways to defeat it and possibly eat it. Leos hurries as his friends struggle with the armors. He tries to figure out the creature's identity, noticing its rigid movements ruling out a formless monster or a noisy swarm of creatures. Leos can't match its strength, so he decides to attack its egg. He distracts it with a stone, surprises it by attacking the shield, and pulls off its head. Surprised to find the helmet empty, he hides, realizing the creature hasn't noticed his location. He finds a slit in the helmet and kills the mass inside, understanding the creatures are mollusks using the armor as a shell. Confirming his theory by throwing the shell, he easily defeats the creature. Impressed by how the mollusks function, he wonders which one laid the egg. He hurries to help his friends, throwing the shield to distract the monsters. Marcel wonders what happened, and Leos shows them the defeated armor. They're surprised to find no magic user, just living beings working together. Leos excitedly imagines shocking the world, but his friends aren't as enthusiastic. He suggests eating the creatures, but Marcel scolds him for wanting to eat something strange and unknown. Leos explains that any new food is mysterious, and Senshi suggests cooking it. Marcel worries it could be dangerous or poisonous, but Leos thinks they should try. They analyze the pieces, likening them to shellfish, and decide to mix them and use the helmet to create steam. They make grilled living armor, and Senshi gives Leos the first taste, teasing him for being the first to want to eat it. Leos is shocked by how delicious it is. They're confused, waiting for signs of food poisoning, but Senshi finds it tasty but thinks it could be better. Chuck also tries it and finds it okay, so Marcel tries it and thinks it tastes like mushrooms. Leos gets excited about other cooking methods, but finds the steamed mollusks taste like mold due to the helmet odor. They clean up, amazed living armor is edible and a type of shellfish from eggs. The others ask Leos to stop talking nonsense, and they continue advancing. Leos replaces his broken sword with the larger armors, noticing small eyes coming out of it. He hides it from Marcel, refusing to check if it's cursed, and they proceed deeper, unaware of their new companion. They reach the 3rd level, finding a ruined golden castle filled with undead creatures. Leos uses his sense of hearing to help avoid monsters, noting golems on the level. Marcel thinks they're inedible, but Senshi sees potential in their bodies and leads them to his base, explaining he usually hunts monsters on other levels. He believes golems' bodies are rich in nutrients. Senshi explains he's using golems like gardens because they protect plants and control moisture levels, but they need monitoring, hence his base on the 3rd level. He leads them to the golems through a secret passage and defeats them with his shovel. Impressed, the others realize he's used to this. Senshi tells them it's time to harvest vegetables. They wonder if the vegetables are parasitic to the golems, but Senshi explains their roots strengthen the soil, creating a symbiotic relationship. They gather the vegetables, and Marcel is excited for normal food. Senshi asks them to gather weeds for fertilizer to revive the golems. Marcel realizes Senshi planted cores on the golems, explaining why he defeated them easily. She mentions it's illegal to activate magical creatures without permission, but Senshi doesn't care. Marcel leaves for the bathroom and Senshi explains the golems will revive when seeds take root. Leos realizes Senshi has been looking after the golems out of passion. They cook the food, with Senshi preferring manual work to keep his skills sharp. They add basilisk bacon, and Marcel notes the food tastes delicious. Leos wonders if something inside the golems affects the flavor, as they're mostly soil. After the meal, Marcel notes the clean bathrooms, thinking someone must look after them. Marcel notices her companions staring at her, and she sees Senshi carrying buckets, wondering what he's doing. Senshi explains he's cleaning the bathrooms, believing the excrement will serve as effective fertilizer, and she realizes they used it on the vegetables. Leos wonders why Senshi is determined to live in the dungeon when he could have a better life on the surface. Senshi explains everyone needs him for cleaning toilets and looking after the golems. He says there are only 3 golems left, and if they die, stronger monsters on lower floors will climb up, ruining the dungeon's natural order. Eating monsters makes him happy, as he feels truly in the dungeon. Leos wonders if it's okay for him to join because the dungeon could fall into chaos, but Senshi knows the golems can survive alone and doesn't want the party to starve. They leave with the vegetables as Senshi reveals he has customers on lower floors but thinks they're busy. He harvested the vegetables to avoid leaving the garden idle, and Chuck suggests selling them on